Hi friends, David here from Learn Christmas Lighting, and in this video we're talking about what do I need in my Christmas light controller box. So last week we began talking about should you build or buy a pre-built box, or somewhere in the middle, and today I want to dive a little bit deeper into what you actually need inside this box, okay? Then in our next video we're going to talk about laying it all out. Sound good? Alright, give this video a thumbs up if that sounds good. Now, I've got in front of me a number of controller boxes here. And any controller enclosure, as it might sound, starts on the outside with an enclosure. Okay? A outdoor waterproof enclosure of some kind. Now, generally, if you're using a given type of controller, there are certain boxes it will fit in, certain boxes it will not. These guys that I have in front of me and I use a lot on my personal display are the Cable Guard CG1500s. Cable Guard also has a smaller, like a 500, and they have a bigger 2000 that are available as well. The Cable Guards are pretty nice because they keep the water out. You know, they're not overly flashy, but they're pretty inexpensive, especially if you buy them from like a pixel vendor and they're combining shipping with other items because they are large, so the shipping can add up. They have pre-drilled holes in the bottom with this foam to keep the water out. And so that's the big caveat of the Cable Guard and why some people really dislike them, is you have to orient them vertically. The cables, they got to be coming out the bottom. If you lay it on the ground and the cables are coming out the side, just assume that a bunch of water is going to get in and fry your controller. It's not going to work, okay? The plastic's paintable, ready to rock. I like them a lot. There are other options as well, though. Another popular option are the bud boxes. They're a little more expensive, but also better made. They're completely sealed and waterproof, including a rubber gasket around the outside, which the Cable Guards don't have. And being completely sealed, that means you've got to drill holes and use what are called cable glands to seal them up. As an example, this is a Harbor Freight ammo box, another popular option for small controllers. Okay, and as you can see here, I've got cable glands on it. They're just cable pass-throughs that you drill. You insert the cable pass-through, you tighten up the nut on the inside, then you can loosen this guy up. You can pass your cable through it. You tighten up the locking ring, and when you do that, you now have a waterproof connection. As long as, of course, the cable's round. Flat cable, not going to work here. Okay? Though you can use flat cable on the Cable Guard. So it's an option. Okay? So that's the first step, is finding your enclosure type. Those are the three most popular, the Cable Guards, the buds, and the ammo cans. But people use all kinds of stuff. Plastic toolboxes. There's some smaller with the Culp controllers. Some of them, the K4s, I believe, fit into a obscure network box thing that can be used outdoors and is really small. And really, any kind of waterproof box, even like a Pelican-style case, and the Harbor Freight ones here in the U.S., the Apaches are really popular. Anything that's waterproof, basically anything that's plastic, can work. I wouldn't go too cheap, though. Like sometimes people will use like the Sterilite brand containers. But in my opinion, when you weigh them down with some stuff and then you're moving them around, they're really easy to break. Okay, so first you need a box. Next, you need a controller. That sounds obvious, David, and it is. It is. But you've got to decide what controllers are going to go in your box, which largely depends on how things are laid out in your display and how many outputs you would need in each location. Okay, next, you're going to go ahead and you're going to need power, okay? Depending on your controller and what's in the box, you may just need a little power brick to power the controller if you're not actually powering any pixels, right? Like I've got a Falcon F48 over here. It has a power brick in there for the F48, but then it also has a power supply because in there I have smart receiver boards, okay? And those power pixels. So I need that Meanwell power supply, but unfortunately, my pixels are 12 volt, which I love that. But the Falcon is 5 volt, and so that's why I need a power brick in there for the Falcon that's separate than the power supply for the pixels. Okay, so you got to think power supplies. What power do you need? Are you powering pixels? How many? How much power do they need? And then figure out how that's going to fit. Okay. Next, you need mounting boards, right? You could just throw all the stuff in the box and hope for the best, but as you jostle it around, as you set it up and tear it down, you're probably going to break some stuff. That's not the best idea. So many of these kits or controller boxes have options for mounting boards. Places like Wired Watts sell them, as well as CCL controllers, as I mentioned in my last video. Neither of these companies sponsored me. I just like their products. And CCL also has a lot of customized options for the boxes. So you get the mounting boards, you get the controllers, you get your power supplies, you get any receiver boards, and if you're using power injection, you may need some power injection fuse boards, and then you're off to the races. That's what goes in to these controller boxes. And, it's kind of an art and a science kind of thing, as we're going to talk about next week, where laying out and figuring out what you need to put in that controller box and how to best lay it out really depends on your display and your needs. Okay, how many pixels are in a given area and how to figure that out. And we're going to talk more about that next week. But for right now, if you're new to Christmas lighting, you're brand new here and you're like, I don't know where to start, then I've got 3 things that I need you to know before you buy any Christmas lighting gear. Okay. At the time of this video, we're creeping up to July, and it's time to get started for a lot of people on your display. Don't go out and buy stuff without knowing these 3 things to begin, so that you don't waste money buying things you don't need. Awesome. Thank you so much. Go check out that guide if you're new, and we'll see you back here next week where we talk about laying out our controller boxes. Thanks.